So, good afternoon, Yorkshire Classic Cars Limited fans. As you can see, that's my door. I'm bringing you up to a very quick update on the Capri. I haven't done one for a little while, and there's quite a lot happened to it since I last saw you. So over Christmas and New Year, fortunately, my wheels turned up. I bought these just before Christmas, and to be fair, excellent price, excellent lead time on them. I'll just pause you a sec there. So yeah, coming around the other side there, please excuse the mess. I went home really late last night, so there's a bit of a mess around the car. But I have managed to fit these are JR Racing, 15-inch by 10.5-inch ET minus 43, I think they are, or 34, one or the other. Biggest offset they do. Ordered these before Christmas. They arrived before Christmas, and I didn't fit them. The reason I didn't fit them is, weirdly, you can get fronts in a Ford PCD, so 108 by 4. These are a 114 or 103 by 4. And so I've only got 2 wheel nuts on there because that's all I had, because I had to change that. Yeah, so I was waiting for these to turn up. These are some beautifully made wheel adapters that adapt from 108 to 114.3. Ordered some UNF nuts to go in there. These were metric nuts on the outside. So I ordered all that. I had to wait for it all to turn up so I could fit the wheels. I'd very carefully calculated all the offsets, how much they'd stick out compared to the original wheels. And yeah, I got it completely wrong. So they were stuck out 30 mil past the wheel arch. So I had to remove the spacers. Luckily, my rear axle is from a Reliant Scimitar. Reliant Scimitars are drilled Triumph, which is 114.3. However, they are 1/2-inch studs that seem to be unobtainable now. So I had to sort of dig all my boxes out. And luckily, I found enough studs to do it, clean them up, bobbed them in, half shaft out. I do have to dismantle this side because it leaks oil out of this half shaft. Axle, if you're an American, they call the half shafts axles. We call the whole axle an axle. I don't know how that ended up, but anyway. I've refitted the original tyres. These aren't a street legal tyre. They are, however, all I've got at the moment, so it's sitting on that. These are going to go, I'm going to put some cheap road tyres on there, just some 265 50-15s. Excuse me, I think the microphone's fallen off. There you go. 265 50-15s. And I'm going to order another set of these and put some drag slicks on. Purely because I can order Mickey Thompsons and stuff, but they're so expensive, and I can't afford to just keep replacing them day in, day out. And I do intend doing a few street miles on this car, obviously. So yeah, I'm really pleased with those. They look lovely. They fit really nicely. The gap clearance on there, or the old offset, is pretty much on point there. By pure miracle, and I do mean absolute miracle, but they look lovely. And I'm really liking the grey centres. I did a bit of a questionnaire on my own Facebook to see whether I should go with a sort of a black or anthracite centre like the original wheels were, or a bronze or gold. I personally prefer these. I think everybody said, yeah, go for that. And you know what? I think they're absolutely right. Another thing that I've done over the Christmas period was I managed to spray the interior. There it is. It's not the best spray job in the world. It is just over the top of the non-drip gloss, so, you know, wasn't really overly bothered as long as it was green. This was an absolute comedy of errors. I turned up, got the car masked up, got it all scotched. My girlfriend had to go into work one day over the holidays, sorry, so I came one evening. I got here at 5:30 and stayed till 8 o'clock officially, but it might have been a modicum later than that. Got it all cleaned out, scotched, rust removed, sealed, welded. Any little bits of grinding left to do, done. Probably see it better through the back there. Okay. Came in, had no mixing cups, nipped to the shop and asked the lady if she'd very kindly give me a couple of coffee cups so I could mix it in there. Bear in mind that the ratios need to be right for 2-pack paint, but it's only going on the interior, and if it took 3 weeks to dry, it wouldn't really matter as long as it dries. So, you know, I could do it roughly. As it turned out, I only needed 2 mixing cups because I didn't have enough hardener. I ended up using hardener that was designed for Raptor truck bed liner. So yeah, that's all I had. And luckily I did manage to do a coat and about 3/4. I actually washed the gun out with thinner and sprayed what was coming out the gun on there. And as you can see, it's gone green and it looks all right. I don't recommend doing it. Obviously, I wouldn't do it on the outside, but everything is green that's ever going to be seen. Everything is covered. And I personally think it's really made the car set it off. The Tic Tac orange is now gone. Sorry, Craig. But it looks lovely, I think. I've put some checker plate, tread plate in there. It's cut and glued in with Tiger Seal. The pedal box is loosely secured temporarily. The driver's seat is in. These are Kirkies. Yes, you have to do the Kirky shuffle to get in and out of there. The passenger seat isn't in yet because obviously I need access to the rear. The steering column I've changed twice. This is the original Mark 1 steering column, basically because the steering lock here works. And this will save me buying lots and lots of auxiliary switches, which are quite expensive. And of course, you're hanging out and faffing about making them all work. So I've obviously got ignition and start on there. I've also got the horn, light flash, dip and head, and indicators on there. So I don't need any more switches. This should normally be on this side, on the right-hand side. I've moved it to the left. This bracket here has a little key in it that goes into a keyway in the column there. You can probably see it if I zoom in. There. I can move that. So I may need to just move that, just to raise that up ever so slightly because I don't want to bang it into my knees. If I have it at this side, every time I get in, I kick it with my feet and eventually it's just going to break off. Now, I do have spares of those, but I don't particularly want to ruin every one I've got. Put a little bit of aluminium paneling in. That is permanent now. It will have to come out here to make a hole for the gear stick. And when I start making the floors and things, the tunnel, that's going to go over there. I've just ordered a sheet of 8x4 aluminium. I don't even remember ordering this, but it's some really thick stuff I had kicking about. So I put that in. I don't know what grade it was. I think it was T6 because it was an absolute nightmare to fold. But it's in. It's bolted in with M6, M8, and self-tapping screws. Little bit of sealer just stuck between there, just to stop it rattling. So it's actually glued in as well. This section will not need to come out, hopefully, once the car's put together. This piece will be able to come out on the top. The handbrake is in. E-brake, parking brake if you're an American. So that's in. I have 2 of those, so I might need to alter that for another, but they fit the same. I think I've got an Escort one over yonder. Column got crinkle finish paint. I'd run out of black, so I did it red and then sprayed it black over the top. I've put my autometer tack in there. I bought that off a friend. Gosh, must be at least 6 years ago, and I've been dying to put that in. It only took about 15 minutes, so I slotted it in yesterday, and I'm over the moon with it. It looks great there. You can see it through the steering wheel. The dashboard top, I absolutely ruined that, cutting holes. It was all cracked and scraped. Dashboards for Mark 1 Capris are very, very rare. Early pre-facelifts, particularly the later ones, are the same as the Mark 2 and 3, but these ones are different. They've got a hard vinyl on there and it cracks and splits, and when you move it, it cracks and splits. So when I cut the holes there, as you can see, for the roll cage, what you can do, a friend told me many years ago that if you put a little bit of body filler in, smooth it down very carefully. It's best done screwed in place, actually, with the windscreen out, believe it or not. And then you can spray it black over the top with bumper paint. And I've done that in the past and it came out great and it lasted like that for years. But when I was trying to sand it around here, because it's so thin here, it kept cracking and splitting again and it just wasn't happening. So I've just covered it with a little bit of leatherette vinyl cloth. It's not perfect, but actually I'm pretty pleased with it. It looks all right. So, you know, that's like a £10 fix, really. I do have another one of those in blue at my dad's house, my mum and dad's house, but I don't particularly want to chop it up because it's a good original one. A couple of little teeny tiny brackets under there just to hold it in place. There's usually a big steel framework in there, but obviously, as you can see, I've dispatched that. Interior mirrors back in. I'm desperately looking for a pair of matching sun visors. I've got 3 so far. I know I have 2 pairs, but I can only find one Mark III one that's black on one side and 2 of the others, and they're all manky. I may spray them, I may just wash them a bit, but I don't know yet. Door seal is on this side. Windscreen is in. Went and picked that up from Leeds. I had the seal. I broke the screen when I took it out last time by accident. Not a particularly expensive item. I did want a heated screen. Somebody told me that if you fit a Mark III screen, hence a heated one, with a Mark III rubber, that will fit in a Mark I aperture. But the early cars had a different shaped or different sized aperture in there. Now then, I had a word with this guy, and he said I'd be very, very, very surprised if a Mark III one would fit. So bearing in mind that delivered a heated screen was about £350, £400 GB. So I don't know what that'd be, sort of $400 to $450 US. I didn't really want to risk it, even though I would like a heated screen in there, because I have no heater, and in the UK, obviously, it gets cold and damp, and the screen steams up. Now then, when I have fitted this, I fitted it myself. It's gone in lovely. It does say on the label Mark 1, 2, and 3 Coupe, 69 onwards. So I assume that people saying a Mark 3 is a different size is wrong. And like the sills down there, rocker panels, they are all the same. I've no idea. I haven't tried it. That one was about £170. I just had to nip and pick it up, unfortunately. It said free postage, but it turns out they don't post them, so I had to go get it. At which point my dad said, I've got one of them in the shed. You should have just mentioned it. Brill. So anyway, joking aside, last night these went in. The old side windows, these are now polycarbonate. And they are screwed and riveted in and sealed and glued. You should be able to see around there. You can see the screws going through, just some self-tapping screws. I've sprayed around the edge. I've sprayed a black edge on there just to tidy them up a little bit. Don't know if you can see it very well. Put the chrome trim on. This one has anti-stone chips stuck to it from when I sprayed another car and it was in the way. And this stuff sticks terribly, but I will be able to polish that off, I think, hopefully, eventually. They need a good clean up. But they've gone on okay. I've just bobbed a couple of rivets in, actually, because I had to find some rivets for it and drill the rivets. Wasn't sure whether to spray those black or not. Done them chrome, left them chrome. I do have another pair, probably see up on the wall, hung behind those Chevy headers. Those are damaged. The chrome on them is damaged. So if I decide to go black with them, I can do them black. But I just quite like the bit of chrome, just breaking up the green and the black. So they're probably going to stay as they are. The plastic is here for the rear window. It's over there. Again, it's polycarbonate. That's the original polycarbonate window I made many, many years ago. And I managed to break it, taking it out because I glued it in. I haven't time to do that today. I might do it tonight, but I have some errands to run today, so probably no chance. However, so there we are, really. Interior is coming on lovely. Obviously, I need to get the engine back in. The crank has turned back up. I've got that, picked that up when I picked the windscreen up because it was just up the road, well, 20 miles away. So I've got the crank, but I do need to wash out the engine and get the sump blasted and bottom end gasket set. So sump gasket, timing gasket, and the seals and things, which I forgot to order and never thought about when I was ordering the main bearings and stuff. But they are actually in my car, keeping them as clean as possible. But I will obviously wash it several times and blow out the oil ways before it goes in, even though I think he's done it for me, to be fair. So yeah, coming on quite nice. I've got the panels to put in here. I've got some filler panels that were the original pieces from Ford. I'm going to just blast and spray those at some point, bob them in before the window because it's a lot easier while the window's out. And then yeah, this I've actually gone over it with some cutting compound. You can't really see, but the shine's come back on it a bit. So I've taken the overspray off because obviously once it's in, you can't get to do it. And I know people will say, well, you never see it, but I'll know it's there and it's not right. And if you're going to do it right, for the extra, an extra 20 minutes of work really does make the result a million times better. So I've just got to do that little bit and, Bob's your uncle. But yeah, coming on quite nicely now, really. So the boot's done, under the body's done. The wheels are on. These are Ford wheels at the front, 9x15, sorry. Ford stud pattern, dual drilled again. But they are a -13, but with a 32mm spacer on the front. And I think you'll agree that the wheel placement is on point. It really does look great when it's outside or when you can actually look around it and see it. But yeah, I'm really pleased with those. Pleased with the windscreen in, wiper motors in, dash tops in. Going to go with a GPS speedo. I think I have an Autometer Pro comp to match that one. However, it needs an electronic sender, which is about 3 times the price of a GPS speedo from the biiiig. So I think I might just risk an eBay speedo. I've got the rest of my gauges floating around, so they're Pro comp, nitrous brusher. I've got down there in that carrier bag there, I've got a oil pressure and a temperature gauge in there. I've got a boost controller, an e-boost. If I attempt to sit in the car, thank God I haven't got you on the selfie stick, because this is not easy. Once you sat in here, obviously the windscreen is the steering wheel, sorry, is missing. You'll see there's a roll cage tube up there, and this piece of aluminium here is going to become the switch panel. Once I'm strapped in, as I am sat in the position right now, you can't see me, but I am. That will go in there. I'm going to do what I did with that. Drill and tap it, M6, metric 6, might go quarter UNF for the Americans out there, because I might have some longer screws, but who knows. I've ordered a couple of switches just so I can make sure I've got enough space behind, but I think that should be really nice up there. It leaves all things like the center console and everything, sort of center console, all clear of clutter. And then in the dashboard, there'll just be dials and warning lights, and that's it. Obviously, the shift lights on top of the tack. So yeah, just try to keep everything neat and tidy, and then once everything's positioned, I can start and pad the cage. So yeah, I'll stop there, stop waffling. Hope you're liking it. Any advice, any pointers, any likes, dislikes, please feel free to mention it. I don't mind one iota. I'm a big boy. I can hear you say you don't like it. I don't care either, but you know, you can say it by all means. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I noticed that I've only got about 20% of my views coming from subscribers. So if you would like to subscribe, that would help me significantly. But yeah, thanks for watching. Went on a bit longer than I thought. Sorry about that. Cheers. Keep watching. Bye.